Hey everyone, it's Paige. We're back for another YouTube video. I am freezing my butt off in Arizona right now, and if you're surrounded by snow, you're probably mad at me because I still get to go out and play, but it is so cold here and it has been really cold. I'm not used to this. Anyone from Arizona knows that if it's under like 55 that you feel like you're basically dying. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It's been like 50 degrees, pretty windy, rainy. At True North there's actually been like a lot of hail and I think snow at some points, so it's been really cold here. So I haven't been filming outside as much, so that's why I did the last two videos inside, but I thought I would brave the cold weather for you, and we're going to talk about my 3-wood today. I realized that I don't actually have my driver specs from the last fitting I did, so I am not going to talk about driver in this video. Instead, I'm just going to give you a couple helpful tips to also practice smarter and things that you can do on the range. So we'll talk about the 3-wood first. I have the stuff here from what I was playing before and what I decided to go with now. I actually loved my old 3-wood, my PXG 3-wood, and I am okay with the one I decided to go with. It's not like my favorite. I hit it fine, but I also hit my PXG fine, and so I haven't really seen a significant difference. And so I think I'm actually going to go back to True Spec and maybe get refit and see if there's anything better. If not, I don't really know what I'm going to play because I do like the club I got fit into, but I also like my other 3-wood too, so I'm kind of going back and forth with which one I want to play with. I ended up going with the Callaway Rogue, and was it Oban? I don't know. It's red. It's pretty. And then, of course, the Gripmaster grips. Okay, so we're gonna compare my old PXG 3-wood to the new Callaway Rogue 3-wood that I was fitted into. For the old one, my ball speed was at 128.6, my launch angle was at 13.6, my backspin was at 3,318, my side angle was negative 0.4, my carry was 201, and my total was 220. With the Rogue, my ball speed increased to 128.8. It's not much of a difference. Launch angle increased to 15.1. Backspin decreased to 3,208. Side angle was negative 2.0. Carry was 205, and total was 223. So really like no difference for the most part. This one goes a little bit higher and 4 yards farther with carry. So again, I didn't really need a new 3-wood. I just wanted to try all of the new ones out just because I haven't been fit for clubs in like a long time with all different brands. So again, I don't hate this club, but I also don't love it. And same with my old 3-wood. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. 3-woods are kind of like this weird thing where it takes a really long time to find a good 3-wood you like. Sometimes if you have a 3-wood that you love off the ground, you can't hit off the tee. If you love it off the tee, you can't hit off the ground. I know some guys who are playing like 3-woods from the 1980s. Like, if you find a 3-wood that you love, most people just tend to keep that 3-wood, but it's really hard to find a 3-wood that works for everything and that you have confidence in, and I guess I'm still searching for that. Both options are not bad options by any means. They're actually pretty good, and both I seem to have confidence in and then I play well. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with my 3-wood. I might maybe take you through the fitting process in another vlog to kind of show you what happens at True Spec and how we go through the process. So since the 3-wood video has been uneventful, I thought I would also just show you my driver. I don't have the specs, so I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give you any of the wrong information. I was fit for the driver a while ago before I got fit for everything else, and so that's why I have the specs for that, but not this one. I'm gonna go back in, I think, and try to get fit try out all the new heads that are out and see which one's best for me. But I went with the TaylorMade M4 with the Valek shaft, and then of course the Grip Master grip. I have been loving this driver. From what I remember when I went through the fitting, this one performed the best by far, like by far. It fit me great. Nothing else was actually really comparing to my PXG driver. I would say the Ping and Callaway were significantly worse, actually, mostly because I don't like to see a big draw, and those tend to be a little bit more draw biased, and then I also, for the Callaways, and then I also spin the ball a lot, so Ping wasn't also a great match for me. So that is why I ended up going with the TaylorMade. I love it. It's been great for me, but I want to go out and try all the new heads that are in because I've heard that they are better than the newest models are better than the old one, but they always say that, so we'll see if it's actually true or not. Another cool thing about this shaft is that, as you can tell, it's kind of this multicolor changes. It's really cool, and they're all custom made, so everyone is a little bit different. So even if you get the same shaft, it might be a little bit more green or a little more blue or a little more purple, so it's pretty cool. I mean, I think I get the most compliments out of everything in my bag probably on this shaft and my grips. People love my grips, but the shaft's just really cool, very different and unique, and it also performs, so you can't beat that. But I am loving this right now. It's been working out for me, and it sounds great, looks great, and it's good. Moving on, since this video has been a little boring, and I've been kind of doing just this club review stuff, which is fun. I thought I would also kind of incorporate something else, how to kind of practice smart. Since it's been colder out, I haven't been able to stay out as long, either because my hands are freezing or I'm freezing or it's just miserable and I don't want to be out here. So something I like to do is to really focus in on my practice routine on the range. And I make sure that I delegate enough time for short game and putting. So think about your weaknesses. For me, my short game and my putting, they're actually some of my stronger parts of my game. And so lately, I still put time into that because that's the most important part of the game, but my weakness is actually long irons and consistency off the tee. And so I've been really focusing on that. So something that I do when I get to the course is I'll practice short game, and I'll do what I hate first, because if I put it to the last second, I'm not going to do it. So I hate practicing putting. I don't hate it, but it's not like my favorite thing to do. It's a little boring. So I practice my putting first, get that out of the way, make sure it's done. Then I chip, not as long as I used to because my chipping feels really good, and then I'll do some wedge shots. And then I'll come to the range and I really focus on what I'm struggling with. I don't hit many greens. I'm a great scrambler. My short game saves me and my putting saves me. So I used to do all my time on short game, because I always thought that's the most important part of the game. 100 yards and in, putting, like, you want to be good at that, which is true. but I don't really struggle with that. And so I realized that I was having to rely on my chipping, my putting so much because I wasn't focusing on what my actual weakness was. I thought my weakness was putting, but that's not true. You are obviously going to shoot higher if you're not hitting as many greens and having birdie opportunities. And so in my mind, I was like, I'm just not making birdie putts, but that's not the case. I'm not hitting enough greens to give myself opportunities for birdie putts. So I come and after my little warm up of short game and putting, I'll go into a couple wedge shots, hit wedges for maybe 10 minutes or so, and I go straight into my long irons. So I'll hit 6 irons and 5 irons. I'm also having issues with lining up, so my alignment is something I always struggle with. So I'll usually put a stick down and work on things technique-wise for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. For me right now, I am coming slightly over the top. So I do this drill where I put a head cover on the ground. This drill is best to do it with a head cover you don't really like too, so that's why this one's great, because I don't really care about this one. I've never used my dog head cover because I do tend to hit it sometimes. But for me, I put the head cover here, and this makes me work on my path, because if I come over the top, I'm gonna hit my head cover every time, and that's not good. So it's just, for me, I have to see it and I have to feel it. And so for this drill, this is great because it like, if you don't do it, you're gonna hit it. Like, you're gonna come over the top and you're gonna hit it. So this is great for him to kind of get underneath and around it. Very exaggerated at this point, just so I can feel it. And then so I'll do that drill until I start hitting it solid. That's just something that I'm working on now. And then after that, and when I put this head cover on the ground and I do this drill, I always put my sticks on the ground too, so I don't have to worry about my alignment at that time, because I'm only focusing on technique. So after I do that, I work on what I need to, my weaknesses, which is long irons. So I'll grab a 6. And alignment. So I pick like a couple holes. Par 3s aren't also my strength, so I'll think of a couple par 3s that I played that I remember. So I was recently at the Genesis, and so I was lucky enough to play Riviera. And 16 is this par 3 with a tiny green. And for me, I played it back, so I had a long iron in. So that's the hole that I visualize all the time, because to me, when I was on the tee, I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't feel confident. So I'll come back and I'll go through my routine, and I have to hit 10 perfect shots. And I do that until I hit 10. It takes a lot longer than you would think it would take, just because they have to be absolutely perfect. So routine has to be perfect, alignment has to be perfect, strike has to be perfect. So I have to hit 10 of those before I can move on to my 5 iron. And then I do the same thing. So I'll just show you, for example, what I do. Sometimes if I'm practicing par 3s, I'll tee it up, but since I'm working on my long irons, I do whatever. So I go through my whole routine. So routine was perfect. Strike was perfect. I hit it in the center, but I hit it a little bit left of my target, too far left. It was maybe 5 to 7 yards, and right now I'm being extra picky, so that's a no. So I'm gonna do that again, and so that doesn't even count as one that was perfect. So you get the point. I'll do that, I'll go to my 5 iron, and then I work through my woods. For my driver and my 3 wood, I tee those up because off the tee, under pressure, I lack confidence, and so that's what I work on. But the practice could take a long amount of time if I'm really struggling that day, or I could be done in 30 minutes. And so that's just an easy way to practice. Like, focus on what you need to focus on. So if you are really struggling with your bunker shots, practice bunker shots. If you're really struggling with your putting, go practice putting. Don't just go straight to the range and bang balls with no goal in mind. Really map out your practice if you want to see improvements. And if you have a little extra time, play 9 holes. That's the best thing you could possibly do, because I know it is so cold out here. My mouth, I feel like I'm starting to like not pronounce words properly because my tongue is, everything's so cold. But anyways, play 9 holes. I think that's really great. I, growing up, spent way too much time on the range, and I was a range rat, and I could never bring my range game over to the golf course. And so I would say ideally practice 30 to 45 minutes and then go play 9 holes and kind of incorporate everything that you were working on and playing and learn how to score, because honestly, it doesn't matter what your swing looks like or what you're doing. If you're scoring low, then that's the goal. Like, you want to score low. So don't focus too much on like technique or trying to have the absolute perfect golf swing, because sometimes that doesn't translate over to lower scores. So another tip I will say is when you are playing, keep stats on your round. How many greens you hit, how many fairways you hit, if you're missing left or right, long or short, how many putts you have, up and down, sand, and you'll know right away where your weaknesses are. Then next time you go to the golf course, practice your weaknesses, and it could change every single day. And be really focused on what you need to practice. You don't need to spend a ton of hours out there. You just need to have really good focused practices, and then go play 9 holes by yourself with your buddies, whatever, and incorporate everything you've learned or that you're doing on the range onto the course. And I think you'll really see a difference in your game if you do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I started off with the 3-wood, talked a little about my driver, and then gave you some tips to succeed in your practice and on the golf course. So hope you enjoyed it. I think the next video I'm going to do is putter, and then also a course vlog, because I haven't done course vlog in a while. So be on the lookout for that. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and also to subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day wherever you are watching this, and let's just hope for some warmer weather soon, because I'm sure everyone in the snowy areas are not enjoying that, and I'm excited for summer golf. So let's pray for some warmer weather and low scores, and I'll see you guys next time.